Hi everyone. Have you ever wondered if the original equipment manufacturer's part was the same as those aftermarket parts that you see advertised? Well, I want to answer some of those questions for you today because the answer is, well, maybe. Hi, I'm Greg with German-Bliss Equipment. We're your online parts provider for a variety of different manufacturers in the agricultural and construction equipment business. But today we're talking about Bush Hog parts. We've been a long-time Bush Hog dealer. We have thousands of Bush Hog part numbers on our shelves ready to ship out to you. But that question always comes when I'm personally shopping for parts or any kind of item online. It says, well, how come this price is different than this price over here? What we find quite often is that with online parts, even though a second vendor might use an original equipment manufacturer's part number, it's not the same part. Some of the things you have to watch out for is the quality the same? Are the dimensions the same? Is it really going to have the same upfit that you need on your piece of equipment? As you can imagine, I'm holding up a blade right here off of a Bush Hog rotary cutter. Now this blade is built by Bush Hog engineers to their specs. They test these things, they put them through countless trials because obviously if this is spinning around at hundreds of RPMs per minute behind you on a rotary cutter and you hit something, you really don't want it to break apart and come flying out. Now, can that happen? Sure, it can happen with anything, but Bush Hog has created this part to be at the highest standards possible. In a simple situation we had not too long ago, another aftermarket company came in and tried to sell us their parts. And we said, hey, bring us in one of your parts, we can compare it to the OEM equipment manufacturer's part. Well, sure enough, it was the same length. The hole where your bolt goes through was the same size, but the reality was it was thinner in material and also it wasn't as wide this way. So would it have worked? I suppose it would have. Would I have felt safe selling it to you? Heck no. So that's one of the reasons why it's so important that when you are looking for aftermarket parts, that you make sure that the quality is as good or better than the OEMs. In this case here we have slip clutch facings. Now these are very high wear items. These are the things that slip when your machine goes under a load that's just too great for it. Well, this can be made out of lots of different kinds of material. Just because it looks similar doesn't mean it can handle the friction and the heat that gets built up in this particular operation. And if your slip clutch wears out too prematurely or it gets too hot and just simply fractures and disintegrates, guess what? You now have metal on metal and you're going to destroy, instead of maybe a $15 slip clutch facing, you might just destroy a $200 clutch. That would be a problem. So you want to buy the best you can. So don't let a $1 or $2 difference be your determining factor. You know, Bush Hog has seals that are, good quality, that are built for Bush Hog specifically to their gearboxes. As you can imagine, you buy a cheaper, less expensive seal, maybe it doesn't fit quite as well, the sealing is not quite the same, the material doesn't have the same standards, and you're mowing along and all of a sudden that seal fails, all the oil drains out of your gearbox. Here's a gearbox right here. If this gearbox has a failure because an oil seal failed prematurely and all the oil flows out of this gearbox, guess what's going to happen? You're not just going to ruin the seal, you're going to ruin the entire gearbox. Gearboxes for Bush Hog mowers probably range anywhere from $350 to over $2,000 on some of the big flex swing mowers. Another high use item are the blades and bolt kits. When you buy a Bush Hog bolt kit, you're going to get the proper Bush Hog bolt along with the washer and the proper nut. Now, can you find less expensive bolt kits out there? You sure can. Are they going to be the exact same material and exact same quality as what the Bush Hog OEM part is? Probably not. There's a reason why things are less expensive, because they're not built to the same standards of what you expect. And don't forget, you also get, when you buy a Bush Hog bolt kit, you get 2 of each, which is what you need to actually replace all the parts on your deck if you've got a single spindle mower. This is called a blade carrier. This is that item that ultimately hooks onto the bottom of your gearbox. It is what people call a stump jumper. You can buy these aftermarket. The ones I've seen often are not to the quality of what the Bush Hog unit is. Or maybe they're just trying to sell you just this pan. Bush Hog, for this particular application, doesn't sell you just the pan. They sell you also the blade carrier itself, because quite often, if this is getting damaged and this is getting, you know, it's out of form, you can imagine if this is dented over here, there's not a balance in the operation of this. And so if it's spinning around at hundreds of RPMs per minute and it's not balanced, you're not only going to have a problem with how it cuts, you're ultimately going to take out this gearbox. Again, this is a big expensive piece that you don't want to have fail. Bush Hog has got a multi-year warranty on their new gearboxes that when it's bought on a new mower. And so you want to make sure that you're not replacing the less expensive item that ultimately may take out the more expensive item. So I just want to make sure today that you are comparing apples to apples. Now, the benefit when you call German-Bliss Equipment or you go onto our website at German-Bliss.com is that we keep a lot of these parts on the shelves. Our people are experienced. They know how to get you lined up with the right parts for the right machine. So when you go out on Saturday afternoon to mow, you can mow. I appreciate you taking the time today to listen to the comparison of aftermarket versus OEM and see why there's value in buying OEM parts from Bush Hog. German-Bliss is here to serve you. We appreciate your business. If you have any questions, you can call us or go to our website at German-Bliss.com.